Hi guys, welcome to day 2 of my live virtual coffee chats. My coffee's still hot, I'm ready to go. Anyone tuning in right now, let me know where you guys are coming in from. Let me know where you guys are, because I love creating this global community. I'm really excited for an amazing woman. She's just requesting to be in my video. I'm going to introduce her for a moment because she's badass. And I cannot think of a better woman to come and chat with us about what the heck we do in business at the moment, how to pivot our business, how to expand our brand during this time. So if you are a business owner or an entrepreneur, let me know. And if you have any questions for her, also let me know, because I will try to answer them during this live chat. Wow, we have people joining from Wales. Hi, Harriet. You're walking the dog in Herefordshire. Oh my gosh, I wish I was out in the countryside in Derbyshire at my family house right now. San Clemente, California. We're going international, ladies. Okay, so let me get Hilary to come join me. Hilary, expert. And she was one of the top branding execs at Disney. And I think it's pretty safe to say that we all know the Disney brand. Hi, Hilary.
Hi, honey.
She has worked on like 250, did I get it right? 250 Disney Pixar like movies. This is amazing.
It's
wow.
Between like Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Touchstone, DreamWorks.
They have a whole roster of productions going on over there. That's amazing. Yeah, I remember when Disney bought Marvel, actually. Yeah. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm so good. I just got off a super inspiring one-on-one client branding call, and I was like, oh my gosh, here's my alarm. It's 10 o'clock. I have to jump over to and see Helena. So what a fun morning, honestly.
I know. And I just have to say, like, side note, having these to jump on every morning is giving me so much fire and purpose throughout the rest of the day. So if anyone is struggling a little bit like that and feeling like they just want to stay in bed, like what can you give yourself in the morning, even for your business or your brand, to expand or communicate with your audience or do something for your business that like lights you up? It really has changed my morning since we are in isolation.
I was just telling my client, which I think is honestly part of the brand expansion conversation today, that I feel like this period of time has given us this big fat permission slip to dream bigger. It's like, because we were put into a box of isolation, we're stuck in our homes, all we want to do is think outside the box.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, that's amazing. What does out of the box thinking really mean for you, I guess, when it comes to brand and what's going on right now?
Well, to me, it means you're expanding and you're not retracting, right? You're basically saying, I'm gonna show up and not shut down. And so it might look different. Business might look different right now, but that's part of it. It's getting a little bit creative about how you show up, what you're doing, how you're doing it, maybe what you're offering. I mean, honestly, I remember having this conversation with you last week where you're like, why wasn't I doing these coffee chats all along?
Right. Yes. Yes, it gave me an excuse to actually do something creative and do something different, that I'm like, all of these tools were here already.
I know, it's so funny. It's like, and I decided to do like that branding challenge that I just did. It's like you're doing things outside of your normal comfort zone because you're not comfortable right now.
Yes. So true. So I'm sure that a lot of people joining us right now are feeling confused. Let me know how you guys are feeling. Like, comment below. This was unexpected, and I think people probably had like their list of goals for the first and second quarter, and maybe it feels like all of that went out the window, and they're going, well, what do I do now? Like, do I stop selling? Do I shut down my business? Some of you may have product-based businesses, some of you may have service-based businesses. What would you say? Like, imagine, like, I guess I'm your client and I'm like freaking out. What would you say?
I mean, call Helena and have her do some tapping for you.
Yes, of course. Imagine the world where I would be freaking out about this.
Yeah, no, I love it. Honestly, I think one of the best things that you can do is to realign with and connect with your why, your bigger why.
Yes.
And that's a huge part of understanding how to define your brand. So if you don't know your why yet, this is actually a great time to figure that out. And I'll give you an example of my brand. We can even talk about yours too, because like my why has always been like, I want people to be inspired by their work, because I believe inspired people do their best work, and that work can change the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I've always been. It's who I attract. It's like, I know that if I did this kind of work, I might be like, I'm good with numbers. Maybe I could be an amazing accountant. That doesn't inspire me at all. Why do you think I worked in the movie business for 15 years? It inspired me. So I did my absolute best work when I was inspired. In this time, you might say like, that's always my why, but you might want to flip it just a little bit and say, in this season, how can I have people be inspired by their work while they're working from home? Like, add something on there to be like, how can I do that right now for this time? Right? And a lot of what I'm seeing is people getting re-energized, re-inspired, more creative about their work. So like, I've worked with so many photographers on their brands, and the photographers cannot go out and shoot right now. They can't be with their clients. They can't go to a wedding. They can't shoot an event. So what I've been seeing is beautiful. They're like at home, and they're being more artistic with their photographer. They're finding the light. They're shooting still lifes. They're shooting themselves. They're shooting home life. They're cataloging the season, and they're going to end up with some beautiful stuff. And they're also learning more about who they are as an artist and a photographer. Right? Because oftentimes, if you're in the middle of like crazy all-consuming work, a photographer, and just as an example, is like running from shoot to shoot to shoot to shoot. Doesn't mean their work isn't beautiful and amazing, but to actually take some time to regather your inspiration, to really double down on your craft, you'll become a better photographer for all of your clients coming out of this.
Yeah, I talk about that. Like, we are going to emerge from this. No matter what you do, no matter what industry you're in, we are going to come out of this, and we are going to be full steam ahead again, even more full steam ahead than maybe we would have been a month ago. And we have the opportunity, I believe, to emerge stronger than ever, and double down on the things that will allow us to emerge stronger than ever, whether that's diving into a new course, or that's expanding your brand, and we'll talk about that, or whether it is learning a new skill that's going to be really useful for your clients. What do you think you could do to come out of this experience even more confident in your business, your brand, your skills, or your ability?
You know what I think is so interesting? I was on my dog walk this morning, and I passed 2 cars right in a row, and I was like, oh, that's the perfect message. One was a focus and one was an escape.
Focus and escape.
Yeah. And I think that that's a brilliant way of looking at this time. It's like, you need to focus and decide what your focus is going to be for this time. So how are you going to get clearer? How are you going to get more prepared? How are you going to ready yourself in your business to come out stronger, like you said? But also taking times for escape, which means self-care, relax, spend time with family, do things you wouldn't even normally do, right? So I think the 2 things are what I would recommend doing, but also like, it's really just prioritizing what you want to get out of this time, because I feel like people are going to be like, how do I carry the momentum of this feeling of this stepping out of my comfort zone during this period? They're going to want to carry that part of it forward and not stop doing that. You're not going to want to stop coming up with ideas like coffee chats.
No.
You're going to be like, what else can I do? And I think it's all in service to who your audience is and what they need right now. It always has been, right? Branding is all about positioning your business to who it's for. What are their biggest struggles? What are their biggest desires and ambitions and goals? And those things change over time, which is why your brand is always evolving.
Could we dive even deeper into that? For anyone who's on here who's like, how do I figure that out right now? Maybe their why has even changed, and they don't even have the why that now applies to them. Or they haven't ever figured out what their why is, and it is also evolving all the time. how would you walk somebody through that who really wants to grab onto that?
Yeah. When you're figuring out your bigger why, you're really looking at the business that you've decided to create, right? There's a reason why you decided to start this business. And so the very first question I would ask you is, why does your business exist in the world?
Oh, I love that. I really want to repeat that. There's a reason why you started your business. And if this month or two of craziness causes you to completely stop and shut down and not want to do it anymore, then you've got to rethink your why, if I'm really honest.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It will show you if your why is not the right why.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, and this isn't wrong, but sometimes people will get into business because of a scarcity mindset or a fear mentality, and they need to make money. And money is not bad. Money is how businesses work. You don't have a business if you're not making money. Miss Mindset Money Coach up here. Like, I know this. But your why has to be deeper than that. The money is like the icing on the cake. That's what comes with when you do this work in the world. But there's also a reason why you decided to start your own business and not work for somebody else at another company, right?
Yes.
There's a reason why.
Yeah.
And oftentimes the thing that we're deciding to do in the world is also the thing that we've learned or we're still learning. And that becomes a bigger why. Like, I can ask you your why, and I'm sure it has everything to do with helping women own their value.
Yes, it's 100%. Their value, whether you call it self-worth or value. Like, I want every woman to feel empowered and have the freedom to make her own decisions and never feel disempowered around money, and that prevent her from being able to do that. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so for you, so you're a great example, right? So you know your why, you own your why is still relevant and intact. But what you might say right now is, how can I take that why and pivot it into showing up and doing different things? How can I change what I might offer during this season, but that still fits that why?
Oh, I like that. Like, maybe we need to visualize that. So imagine your why is at the top, and you may have had all of these ideas of what you would be doing right now, and that has shifted. I know that it's shifted for you. Like, we are all shifting. So maybe if you could define your why, and maybe that's at the top or that's at the center, then you are just rethinking new branches, right?
Yes. So like the why is sitting on top of the cloud.
Ooh,
and then the sun's rays are coming down, but you were only doing this ray and this ray, but look at all these other rays.
Yes.
All these different other ways. And that's what it means to pivot. That's what it means to start innovating in your business too, right? Yeah. Innovation is just coming up with creative ideas and creative solutions for where you're at right now.
So let me know, anyone that's joining us, anyone that's on here, have you had questions around how to pivot or not sure how to pivot?
Yes.
I would love to go back almost to your outside of the box thinking, because that's certainly what I'm doing, where I'm thinking outside of the box that I'd actually been containing myself in.
Yeah.
It's actually really freeing. Like, I'm doing these. Why was I not doing these before? I'm showing up for my audience in a different way, in an expanded way. But for somebody who's going like, what is expansion, and like, how do I do that? And I'm really concerned maybe about money. How could we support them through that shift and that expansion? What would expansion or pivoting look like?
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Depending on your business, like, everybody's businesses are so different, right? So depending on your business, you may not be able to do anything at all like you were doing before. And I think it's being honest about that. It's also being very honest and transparent with your audience about that to start. And like, I honestly haven't seen anything more beautiful than Farm Girl Flowers right now. Them talking about what's happening in their business. One of the posts that they put on Instagram the other day after being silent for a little while was this huge mound of flowers ready to be decimated in a field of flowers, and people are like, why didn't you donate them? Hospitals are not taking flower donations right now. Like, you can't give them away fast enough. Farm Girl Flowers, they are not, right? People aren't buying flowers right now, and their manufacturers and the plants where they create them and ship them, like, they have to be 6 feet apart. So they basically had to, in 5 days, come up with a completely new way of doing business to work on saving their business.
Yeah.
And they're being very transparent and honest about it, which is lovely. And it's what people want to see, because It's not just business as usual. And that's the thing. So can you expand your brand during this time? 100%. And let me tell you how.
Yes, please.
If you can make money doing it, that would be your number one goal. And I do not think it's wrong to be selling right now, because the reason why people have such a hard time with sales, which you know this and you teach this to people, is because they think about it as like being like a car salesman instead of just being of value and of service.
You should come work. We should work together.
Let's yeah. But if you think about it like that, so number one, yes, think about how your offers right now can be of service. What are the new benefits your customers are getting from the brand and the offers that you have? But number two, if this is not the season where you can potentially sell something, that might be a hardship right now, but what you can do to expand your brand right now is to show up. Because here's the thing, people hate change. And there's so much change in the world right now that if you can show up consistently for them, they're going to love you through this. You can help be that bridge that gets them over this season. You're going to expand your brand because you're going to expand your brand awareness. You showing up more than you often do. Like I haven't done Instagram lives in most of I've done Facebook lives in my group, but like the first time I went on Instagram live, I was like, oh, what are the, I don't even know the buttons, right? And now I'm like, let's go on with someone. It's great. But it's showing up, because here's the thing, to go from an unknown brand to a well-known high value brand, you have to the very first layer you have to build on is brand awareness. People have to know who you are and what you do. And then you have to work on brand interest. Okay. You got them. They know, they're aware of you, but now how are they going to become interested in you? They're going to become interested when you're serving them the things that they need.
And that comes back to really knowing your audience.
Yes.
In my case, you guys are probably really freaking out around your money mindset. Okay.
Yes.
Still links to my why and my purpose.
Yeah.
For you, it's the same. Like, okay, people are going, how the hell do I pivot? Okay, let me show up with more value around that.
Yeah.
And I think, do you think it's also knowing what your audience needs right now? And I'm thinking of some of the people that might be on here live who maybe aren't necessarily just service based, like, the flower company and different things like that. I'm just wondering how they could sit and journal or work out or figure out, what do their clients need right now? What do their customers need right now? And pivoting that way.
And a good way to think about it is, I mean, it's not that hard to figure out, because we're all in the same thing. Literally everyone in the world is going through the same thing right now. So what do you need?
Yeah.
What would feel good to you right now? Like I look at the Magnolia brand right now, and they've always been about, inspiration for life and home. But now everybody's at home.
Yeah.
Like life is at home. Yeah. And so they started a beautiful hashtag. I think it's called #WeBelieveInHome. And it's everybody sharing what home life looks like right now. And this is them expanding their brand. They're not selling anything with this, but you can go buy stuff still, and that's products. Yeah. But it's also, they're giving tips for at home. They're like, today's tip from We Believe in Home is build a blanket fort with your kids.
I love it. Yeah, right? And let's share some more examples, because this might spark inspiration for people of how people are pivoting. West Elm, also a home furniture store. I saw that they are now offering Zoom. If you ever use Zoom, it's the video
conferencing.
Conference calling. Thank you. They're offering backgrounds to people working from home, so that their employees and their people, that their co-workers don't need to see their dirty laundry in the background.
So they can brand it.
They've branded their furniture on the background.
I want that.
Like, how cool is that? That's so out of the box thinking.
So cool.
One of the companies that I work for, I also do money mindset for sales teams and high execs. And they have a factory. Now, they have pivoted by realizing, what are we in demand for right now?
Yeah.
Masks.
Yeah.
We need more masks. they've never made masks before.
Of course not.
So they're reaching out to the people that need them and have decided that they will use the factory to make them. This means their employees can still get paid and they expand their brand. And I'm like, you guys can go on CNN. You guys can get
100%.
recognition for this as well. So it's a win-win for everybody.
That's a pivot. That's an example of a pivot and an innovation right there. Like, and
exactly.
so that's what I mean. Like, your business may not look the same right now, but you can still show up.
Yeah.
You can still get really creative about it, and it's going to be completely different things for different kinds of businesses, but you can absolutely do it. And the one thing that also stays the same is like, get grounded in your why, but also know what your brand stands for, right? Mm-hmm. These are the core values of your business. Mm-hmm. This, what you believe in for your customers. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't change. Right? If I want my customers to always have clarity and to always be inspired by their work, well, I'm going to show up and do a pivot and innovate workshop, because in order to get clear, they need to understand how to pivot and what it means to innovate right now.
Yes. So what I'm really hearing is showing up, like showing up authentically and in an aligned way for your audience. And I think, like, I feel called to say it's almost like we have to remove the need to, like, we often show up going, how will this make me money? Like, that's a lot of the way. I can get into money mindset of how not to do that and all that, but we're not going to go there. And now I really feel called that everyone, how can you show up to serve? How can you show up with value for the people that you most want to attract and that you most want to attract at the end of this epidemic?
Yeah.
Because when you remove the need to make money, like, people are going to be really attracted to that, and you get out of your own way by overthinking it. Right. And when you show up with value, we build the know, like, and trust factor.
Yes.
And that is so key with any brand and any business. And if you could just lean into trusting that by you showing up, by you giving value in this time for whoever your ideal customer is, whether you're making face masks for them or making, I don't know, whatever they were making with the new flowers that they had on, that they needed to do something with, then people are going to be attracted to you at the end of this. And could you lean into trusting that? I just think that's so key.
And the other thing to know is that it does not have to be perfect. Like, people are going to be very forgiving right now, and it's your opportunity to just try new things, take some risks, be creative in your business, and showing up authentically and being transparent right now, like actually being honest with where you are in your business. Like, I showed up the other day and I was like, hey, I just launched my group program, and guess what? This week was not the time. So soft launch, and we're going to push that back till May. And that's fine, because what I see you need, my customers, my audience, my clients, is you need more clarity and understanding about what's happening right this second for your business before you're ready to then stand on solid ground and build this brand strategy back up. So you come out of this time emerging with clarity.
Could you share a little bit about how you pivoted in that? Because I know that you had this entire incredible launch ready to go, and it was a case of this week just isn't the week right now.
Yeah.
So how do you keep a really solid mindset and like, I guess, trust for yourself to just go, you know what, my intuition is telling me I need to push this forward? Because I'm sure there are a lot of people that maybe even had launches planned or expected a certain amount of new clients to come in this month, and it didn't work out the way that they did.
It has everything to do with listening to your audience. You, at every moment, you have to know your audience, and that changes all the time, right? So even like, as I'm creating brand messaging and strategy for a new client, like a one-on-one client, like, we might say, hey, this is what you do and this is who it's for. But by the way, if you're standing in front of this audience, I would say it like this, because you always need to know who you're showing up for in every moment, right? So for you, like, even for you, like, okay, I'm going on Girl Unfiltered. I know Girl Unfiltered Helena is this badass money mindset coach, right? So she talks about value. She talks about worth. She talks about making money, and loving money is a good thing, right? So it's like, how can I show up and talk about my brand in a way where it's aligned with that? Like, you just always have to know your audience and you have to be able to show up for them. And if you're not listening to your audience, it shows.
Yeah.
That's when
and you
things
can
go
tell
awry.
there's some people who aren't quite doing that at the moment, and you feel it, and then you really resonate with the people that absolutely are and are being honest and real with their audience.
Yeah, and when you can be real, like another great example, I can't tell you how much I've bought from small businesses lately because of how they're showing up and how transparent they're being. Like this afternoon, I'm getting a Grazing Kitchen box delivered to me because, you know, and Lena from Grazing Kitchen she does like these beautiful grazing boards that I had at my last event at Entrepreneurs by the Sea that you came to. And it's this gorgeous thing that you get for events and stuff. And obviously you can't do events anymore. So she pivoted, she innovated, she's creating cardboard to go boxes, still beautifully arranged in this grazing board fashion. And it's like $45 or something. I was like, yes, I want that. And she's delivering it to my house.
That's amazing. So that is somebody who literally was in the event business. Literally like saturated in a market that could only really work if people were showing up to have events or parties. And somebody she completely innovated to make it work for now. If she can do it, we can all do it.
I know, because I reached out to her. I was like, how are you? Is everything okay? I was thinking like, oh, is it shut down? Is it okay? She's like, it's booming.
That's amazing.
Because here's the thing. And then on her Instagram stories, you're seeing people repost of like, they took their grazing box and had a picnic outside all on their own in this big field of grass. Like they still had a picnic outside because social distancing in place, yes, 100%. But it's like a beautiful box where you can go have a romantic moment or like a family get together. Meaning with
we still want date night.
Right?
Like I want date night with my husband. Like I'll order something to make that special. So if that's a business that you're in, like how could you? What are people's wants and needs? They still have those wants and needs. But just make it work for this time.
I was even thinking about, it sparked from an Instagram thing. I saw a story that I saw, but I was even thinking about like companies like eHarmony and Match.com and like, what do they do right now? You can't go out on dates. I was like, do you know how amazing it is to start dating without having the pressure of seeing them in person? Like actually having a real, like you can be doing FaceTimes or whatever and like actually get to know someone. There was this Instagram story of a couple in New York. They were both on their rooftops and they said like hi to each other and they wrote each other messages, and then he like sent his drone over with his phone number and she texted him that night, and now they're like dating, and he went over in a big plastic bubble to her apartment building just so they could go for a walk, and he's in a plastic bubble and she's outside the bubble.
My gosh, that is out of the box thinking. What are some of the other small businesses that you think, because I know a lot of people on here are probably small business owners. What are some of the ways that you see them really rocking this time?
You know what? I love Sugar Paper, and Sugar Paper showed up, and you know they were super transparent. You know the co-owners, they don't usually get on live on Instagram and show their faces necessarily. They are, you know, a little bit more behind the scenes, and they show the product and they show the company. But they were like, we're trying to save our business right now, like. They do like paper goods and they do cards and but like what an amazing opportunity too, because this is the time where, oh my gosh, let's slow down. Let's send a card. Today is my mom's 75th birthday. I can't be with her in person. So can I send her a card? Yes, I can. Right. There's also other things that they have. They're all about like their brand values are all about creating noteworthy moments and saving paper and remembering these times. Journaling, being productive, planning, like all of those things are perfect for right now. So they're leaning into that part of their business. That's not all of their business. It's part of their business, but the messaging around that can be so beautiful. So it's really just, it's leaning into what are people needing right now? How can you show them, even showing people how you can create a positive experience during this time with what you have to offer.
Yeah, I love that. And do you feel, I wonder if it's like, I feel called to say, how are you showing up for other small businesses? I feel like the law of I always get reciprocity, the law of reciprocity. Can you show up and support your small businesses? Can you reach out and say, hey, what do you need support with? Where are you struggling? How can I be that person that emerges from this as a leader, as a connector. And by you doing that, they're going to think of you. They're going to ask how they can support you. Like, and you're putting out like this law of attraction. Well, I'm showing up. I'm not shutting down. I'm helping other businesses in whatever way I can. Therefore, I'm saying to the world, universe, like, I'm here. I'm still showing up. I'm good to go. It's a give and a receive energy, I think.
Well, and I have another great example too. Like, I went to, the Starbucks and things are all closed right now, but I found a local mom and pop coffee shop who's still open that has social distancing in place. They're called High Tide Coffee here in San Clemente, and you order online and you go and pick it up, and they're at a window and they have the little card machine outside. So you just put it in, you pull it out, you pick up your coffee up from the table, and you go, and it's fine. And like, I literally was like, thank God for you. I've never been here before. I am now a customer for life.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Because they're showing up for their community. Their community is there to support them as a small business. They understand what this means during this time. Instead of shutting down, they figured out how to show up, how to continue serving the community. The community loves it. Who doesn't want their coffee in the morning? Right? Yeah. So I actually have a date with my girlfriend here tomorrow morning. We're going to go to High Tide Coffee, and we're going to have our coffee 6 feet apart.
I love that. You have to take a picture for me. I don't know this. I'm supporting my local wine shop.
Yes, girl. Honestly, like, I tried for the first time. I've had it for a while. I got it at one of my meetups. Mantra Mask. So I met the owner of Mantra Mask at a meetup. She gave some samples away. I finally tried it the other night, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Now all I want is Mantra Masks. Like, okay, self-care night. I went onto Amazon and I bought my favorite brand of nail polish because I didn't have any nail polish at home.
Yeah. I
was like, okay, self-care Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever it is, like, how can I create that for myself at home? So brands have so much opportunity right now. And if you don't have the kind of brand that has something for this moment, create something.
Create it. Yeah. Sit down and create it.
Yeah.
And what about people, for example, like, I am using this opportunity to actually connect with other women in my industry and to join together. I am all about like, how can we all empower our community together? So for somebody who hasn't necessarily done that before, would you recommend reaching out to other people in their field, banding together, or showing up more for their communities? Like, how do you feel around that?
Yeah, 100%. I actually think now is such a beautiful time to reach out to people, even if it's to say like, hello, I love your brand and this is why, and would you want to do this with me? And if the answer is no, that's okay, but you've also formed a connection and you're creating a relationship where maybe you wouldn't have felt like you could reach out before. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I messaged this Sugar Paper and I was like, I mean, I love what you're doing. Like, they were like guest speakers at one of my first brand clarity workshops, and I think their intentionality around their brand is so beautiful, and it's even more beautiful right now going through a challenging time. So I think reaching out to people, this is the time to connect. People want to be connected. Like we've talked about, I've never had so many FaceTimes, so many Instagram lives, so many Facebook lives, so many Zoom calls in my life.
Yeah. And how can you, no matter what business you're in, whether it's service or product-based business right now, use the power of the online world and actually create connection? Because what is everybody craving right now? Connection. Like, I found my husband, but I need a little more connection than that, like, I mean, people. So how can you, instead of just posting online or updating a blog on your website, those are all great, but how can you voice note somebody? How can you pick up the phone and actually make a call? How can you create that one-to-one experience, or get all of your community on one big group chat or something like that?
It really is about creating community. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is if you don't have that for your brand right now, like, some people have very intentional communities like memberships and things like that, or free Facebook groups. But it's like, how do you get more intentional with the ones that you have? And then how do you, if you don't have it, how can you create a community? But also thinking about right now, what kind of community do you want and need? It could be one for your clients, but it could also be peer-based. It could be mentors that you've been wanting to have. It could be, I'm in all different things. Like, I have a book club with one group that I'm working on. I have like a motivational meetup with another group, right? Like there's all different kinds, and it's really thinking about what does your brand stand for? What are the core values of your brand? What do you want to be known for? Because you can show up that way in all different ways right now. And so if creating a community, like people are also missing the in-person networking and socializing events that they were used to going to, especially as entrepreneurs. Like you might work from home, but I promise you get out to a coffee shop and meet up with someone else to work, or you go to your co-working space, or you go to some meetups that are for entrepreneurs. And so if you're missing that, how can you create that online? How can you create it virtually? Because the opportunities are endless. You have the opportunity. You can show up with free things all the time. Like I see Rachel and Dave Hollis, I'm doing their next 90-day challenge. They're known for the last 90 days at the very end of the year, the last 3 months of the year, and like ending the year strong. But it's like now they're pivoting and doing next 90 days right now because people need the motivation, people need the guidance, people want the mentorship and the coaching right now to get through this time.
Yeah. What about, is there anyone on here who's like, this all sounds really good, but I'm really scared to show up, or I haven't created those connections before? Does this mean I have to like put my face on camera? How would you support somebody through that?
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking with someone about this yesterday. She was kind of like, I don't know that I'm not really into video. So do I have to do, I was like, the way you're asking me the question, you're already answering it. You're going to dip your toe. You're going to do it a little bit, right? And it could be something as simple as starting to do some IGTV videos where you're actually giving people some tips and helpful advice, but that maybe you don't have to be fully live with somebody right now. It's like you want to dip your toes and start seeing some connection there. It's really all about engagement. It's kind of like what makes you click on somebody's live? What makes you follow somebody's stories? Like, what is it? It's usually about their humanity. It's about them showing up every day and like seeing what they're up to. It's like, it's like, it's just forming connections. But I think right now you have such a big opportunity. And if you don't want to be visible, I would just rethink that. I would rethink it. Like, and how can you do it in a tip? Like go in baby steps. But I think now is the perfect time. Nobody's judging you. You do not have to be perfect because the world is so imperfect, especially right now. Like no one is perfect. I mean, even all the doctors showing up, like they're not doing it perfectly, but they're showing up because they know what happens if they don't show up.
Yeah.
You got to show up.
Sorry.
It's okay.
What about, so some people might have had like a very specific way of showing up, like specifically for their audience. Now, I don't know what the answer is because you're the brand expert on this, but I'm asking. Say this person is also a mother and works from home, but they've never talked about being a mother and they've never talked about working from home. Is this the time to also share real life? This is how I'm juggling working from home and being a mama, and make that part of her brand at the moment? Or should she stick to specifically what she kind of sells in the future?
I think it's very smart to be transparent about what's happening with your business right now, but it's up to you to decide how much of your life you want to share. You don't have to share your whole personal life if you don't want to. If you're okay with sharing some of that, I think it's lovely. People would be very open to seeing it. But I don't think this time requires you to show something you wouldn't want to normally show. It all comes back to your values, because you can also decide, and you'll see this even in people with huge followings, right? And they may not say it, but you'll know, like, oh, they show, you know, a home birthday party, but they're not going to show their kids waking up in the morning or going to school. Like they have certain like limits and boundaries for what they'll do and what they'll show. And I think it's just figuring out the boundaries for yourself and just sticking to that, because people love consistency no matter what it is.
Yes.
Right? That's what it's about. It's about consistency.
Yeah. I want to answer Sasha's question. And while I'm answering it, we'll both answer it. Anyone who has a question, I want you guys to write it in the comment box right now before we wrap things up, so that we can support you the best way we can right now. So Sasha's asking, like, she moved all of her kids' dance classes online. Great. She wants to do her Loving Your Body dance class. Girl, we'll come join you.
Yeah.
It feels scary. Totally get that it feels scary. We're all kind of in the same boat.
Yeah.
I don't know how to charge. Okay, so should I do a donation? Ooh, I wonder how you answer first, and then I'll answer.
So basically what I'm hearing is she moved her dance classes online.
Yeah. Or is it that you moved your kids' dance class online, but you want to also do,
as a new thing,
I think, the Loving Your Body dance class. Yeah.
My opinion is you could start it off by offering it as something of service, and then after 2 or 3 times, then it's like, if you want to continue this, these are the benefits, and this is what it costs.
Yeah. So maybe the first time around, do a donation, or do it as a free. Maybe it could be like the first one could be free to like show everyone what you can do and how it's going to benefit them. And then I personally would say from then on, feel free to charge for that.
You can charge.
You are offering a service, whether it is online or not. And the gyms and the studios that I have friends who own here in LA have all pivoted by putting their classes online, and they are still charging for them.
Yeah.
Because, be honest, this is a way for you to help keep the economy going, for you to keep paying your bills, for you to be able to pay your employees if you have them. And I don't think anyone is going to resent or think any less of you for charging $20 for a 60-minute dance class. Like,
no,
that is perfectly acceptable because you're showing up with value.
I agree with that 100%. Yeah, it's just pivoting and becoming an online business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's a perfect pivot. That's exactly what we're talking about when it comes to pivoting.
Yes.
Is going, okay, how can I make this accessible for what is happening right now?
Yeah. You're still giving the same service. It's just not in person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So you're respecting the social boundaries right now with social distancing, but you're still giving the same value and the same benefit to your clients. So, and to have something new, to have something like, maybe you have kids dance classes, but like, you're feeling so called to do this other thing for body love. Maybe it's something you've been thinking about for a long time. And that's what I'm seeing come out of this time, is like the creativity and like actually doing the thing that means the most to you sort of gets born out of this time, which is so amazing.
Yes. So actually, this is what I'm called to say is, we need body love right now more than ever. So how can you use that to expand your brand by showing up and talking about something that people want to read that right now, because we are stuck at home. People who are addicted to going to the gym can't get to the gym, and that brings up stuff, and people are emotional eating. So how can you support your ideal clients coming to you in the future by actually sharing value about the tips and tools that they could use right now to love and accept the skin that they're in? This is perfect.
Well, and honestly too, what will happen when you go back to being able to be in person is the body love might still be an offering online.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That could be like, maybe people don't want to show up in person for that, or maybe some do, but maybe you've now attracted clients from all over the world who can't come in person. How amazing is that though? Because you can continue to serve them online.
Yes. Okay, I hope that helps you, Sasha. Does anybody else have any other questions? And while I wait for those to come through, and feel free to ask anything around branding, business, pivoting ideas, let me know. You're
welcome, Sasha. By the way, I know Sasha.
Oh, you do? Okay. Yeah. I have no idea who Sasha is. So that came from completely not knowing.
Sasha's from Hawaii.
Oh, amazing. Okay, awesome. People want to tune into Hawaii right now, so perfect opportunity. Does anyone else have any branding, pivoting questions? Let me know. Hilary, do you have any other examples of some great pivots or anything on your heart that you would love to share that you wish all of those online business owners or product-based or service-based businesses could know right now, that you're like, I wish I could tell them this?
I mean, honestly, I want businesses to know that business is not over. Like, I really do feel like, yes, this is a hard time. And for some people, they're not making the money that they would normally make. And so that is a complete hardship, and I understand. But I think we all have to like rise to the challenge and come up with creative ways of making money for ourselves right now, and also being of service. And like we said through this whole thing, it's all about who your customer is and what they are needing right now. It really is. And so I want people to like come away from here thinking positively and also reconnecting with what inspires them the most. Because I always tell my clients, follow your excitement. What is exciting to you? And even right now, like what is getting you excited right now? How do you want to show up? This isn't for me to tell you how to show up. It's for you to decide who you are and how you want to show up. It can be so different in so many different ways. So you decide for yourself, but the key is show up.
Key is definitely show up. And how, if you're really honest with yourself, how often have you wanted to take a month to do this kind of work or to just focus on brand expansion? Gosh, I'm seeing this. I'm so grateful for this because expansion was my word for this year. Like how to expand my brand.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's on my whiteboard of like, okay, I'm like really solid in like my clients and my finances and all of these things are all now snowballing. Right, great. Now I have the time to expand, and it's like, holy crap! Like now I really do have the time to do things like this, and it's amazing.
I love it.
Want to share from a mindset perspective for anyone. Like one of the final little things that I was like, I want to come on and say this is that I'm sure there are a lot of business owners or people out there. I don't know, female entrepreneurs do this a lot, who are going, see, this is proof that nothing works out for me. This is proof that it just like it won't happen for me. It never goes my way. And I just want to nip that thought in the bud right now.
Yeah, you do.
Because so many people will be using this as proof and it will cause them to feel trapped. You guys, this is happening to everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone. This is not proof that you should not be doing or running your business or keep going. Please, the world needs you more than ever. We need small business owners. We need people showing up online. We need entrepreneurs working from home. You guys are the inspiring ones. We will emerge from this. And if you just need a reminder, like, doesn't matter what industry you are, whether you're at the top executive level at Disney or you are a stay-at-home, work-from-home part-time mama, like we are all in this together. So do not use this for proof that you should not be doing what you have.
And also don't be afraid of failing right now. Like try it. Try it. If you have an idea, put it out there, try it, get some feedback, and then go from there. Like just because, so you can't use that as social proof either that it never works out for you, right? If you try something and it fails, you just try something else, but you also listen to your audience. Like people talk about it needs to be perfect before it goes out into the world. And here's the definition. You can't perfect something unless you have feedback. You can't work on something, change it, adapt it, improve it, unless you have feedback from the people it's for. So you got to put it out there, give it a try, even if it's something that's, hi Cookie, even if it's something that's basically like you want to put out for free to try it. That's one way to try something right now. Put it out in service, put it out for free, get the reaction, get the response, see how it helps people, how it changes people, and then use that. Use that as the impetus to create the offering that you're now going to serve them with.
Yes, this is a great trial time, like to try out stuff. I love that. And just Hilary and I did not start like this. we weren't super confident jumping on lives when we first started our business. We didn't have our brand clarity locked down or anything like that. It's a work in progress. And
when I started, my website wasn't even up.
Yeah, exactly.
You learn as you go.
So thank you everyone for joining us live. Thank you, Hilary. I'm so excited doing these coffee chats and seeing all of these comments and people joining us. Yes. And if you guys have, please go follow Hilary after this. She's at Hilary, is it _ Hartling?
No, it's just Hilary Hartling.
Hilary Hartling. If you guys have any other branding questions, go DM her, go ask her. She's got a ton of free content.
You're welcome, Sasha.
Stuff, right? You've got free downloads that they
I have your brand superpower in one clear statement. I also have a workshop that's probably going to be able to be signed up. You can sign up probably starting tomorrow, and it's called Pivot and Innovate. It's a free workshop I'm doing next Tuesday, April 7th. So
another
if you want to be there for that.
Business owner pivoting. you actually putting out a workshop of pivoting.
Yeah, that's me pivoting.
Yeah, I love it. And if you have any mindset questions, money mindset questions, any more support that you want, come DM me because I have more time on my hands to chat with all of you.
Woo-woo. Thank you so much for having me, Helena. I love it. I'm gonna now, like, I couldn't actually drink my coffee when I was on the coffee chat because I was chatting. So now I'm gonna go drink my coffee.
I'm gonna go make myself another one. Mine's cold now. Okay, lots of love. Thank you everyone for showing up.
Something good.
Yes. Well, mine says wifey. That's not as exciting.
Bye. Bye.